Hello, everyone, and welcome to Manu Agenda. So, guys, today we're joined by the Kop. Welcome to the Kop. First time we're doing a show with you. Welcome. Aslan, welcome. Thank you for joining us short notice as well. But I think it's a show that we need to get off our chests because there's a lot of things going on today. There's going to be a protest at 6 o'clock tonight for Arsenal before the match. So, guys, I'm going to read out a quick little statement, or call it a statement, and then from there, we'll then ask you what your thoughts are with what I'm reading out, and then I'll give you a bit of time to answer it, and then we'll move on, okay? So, for me as a Man United fan, it's not only Man United, basically, who's talking about this so-called Big Six breakaway league. You got Man City, you got Arsenal, you got Chelsea, you got Spurs. All these guys now who is the owners, not one of them are British owners. Not one of them are British owners. So 4 out of the 6 of them, you've got 4 of them who is American. You got one who's Russian, and you got the other one who's from Middle Eastern, which is Man City. Then when you look at it, the way I look at it is it's about money. It's about coming out, talking, everything's about money, and basically trying to make the rich club richer, the poor club poor, and don't give opportunity to other teams. Then when you look at it as well, you've got the likes of what they're trying to do. It's almost like the NFL. So it's almost like the NFL scene where they got the football, they got soccer is what they call it. It's a franchise, and they don't really want the other team. There's no relegation, there's no promotion, there's nothing whatsoever with it. Teams like Leicester City at the moment, who's fighting, investing to finish in the Champions League. You got Everton, who's building a new £500 million stadium, and teams like that are not allowed to play in this league because of greedy owners. So, guys, let's start with the Kop. Talk to me, because for me, as a Man United, I find this embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, and it's all it does is pushes down those teams lower in the league, in the Premier League, and obviously, you know, it has a ripple effect from Premier League down into the Championship and the lower leagues as well. I've always found that there's too much money in sport anyway. And certainly in this situation, I totally agree with what you said. It is all about money. How many zeros can they put in their bank balance without giving a thought to the fans, without giving a thought to the team, the manager? Because none of these managers, none of these players, none of the fans were discussed. Nobody discussed it with them. Nobody knew anything about it until it hit the media. And then all hell seemed to break loose. And, you know, our owners, you know, John W. Henry, I know you're going to put something up in a little while about his interview. I'm quite disgusted with the way that everything was done via my club, and how much of an impact it's made on the fans, not only our fans, but, you know, obviously your fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans. You know, you've seen it with the people outside the stadiums. You know, 20 people going into Man United yesterday to protest. You know, to me, they got it well wrong.
Yeah, and let's go to. I think he's got his mic mute. You got him mute. Yep, there you go. So Aslan, your club, talk to us about your club, because again, you guys are trying to get rid of this owner for a very long time now.
You know, they say like the Glazers are bad. So imagine 10 different kind of Glazers, and you put it into one man at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad the ownership of this club is. Since, you know, I mean, when you get an owner who comes in and says, "Oh, do you know what? Winning isn't everything." Do you know what I mean? So you already know what kind of mindset he's coming in with. Football is not run by football people anymore. You know what? It doesn't matter if you look at the top 6 club or if you look at certain different clubs as well. Football has now become, you know, a massive business now. Do you know what I mean? They see how much money it is. They try to change the game. Do you know what I mean? They try to put so much more money in that other clubs cannot compete. Do you know what I mean? It's just embarrassing. This is the first time since, you know, I've been, and we've had a lot of highs and lows, but this is the first time that I could say that I was so embarrassed by the club's action. And it's just one of those things, isn't it, that you just they don't care about the fans no more. They don't really care if stadiums are full anymore, you know. So so I think it's just one of those things that you look at, and you look at from a club point of view, like we're just we're just basically is putting money into the club and we're not getting nothing back. I mean, you look at the investments that we have had. He hasn't put a penny of his own money into our club. A penny. He's been there for more than a decade, I think now. And he hasn't put a penny into this club. So you can already see the decline. Do you know what I mean? You already see the mindset of these owners to know that we're just a money-making machine, isn't it, really? We've got the highest season ticket in the Premier League, in Europe, in fact. The highest season ticket, and we're sitting 10th and 9th in the table. That alone is embarrassing enough for them to actually turn around and say, do you know what, we need to do something. But the fact, this has been going on for so long and it's just blew up in 2 days or like 48 hours, just goes to show how quickly they try to change it in that one moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just, to be honest with you, it's just one of those things. You know, that protest today should hopefully be a start of them shifting out, because I was reading something today when they're saying they've got no intention of selling the club. But I think this is the movement now. You can see the fan power, what it can do.
What we're going to do now, we're going to move on to John Henry now, and get to basically, we'll listen to interview, and then we're going to listen to these apologies and find if they're sincere or not, because I'm going to come back to it, because, yeah.
I want to apologize to all the fan supporters of Liverpool Football Club for the disruption I caused over the past 48 hours. Goes without saying, but should be said, that the project put forward was never going to stand without the support of the fans. No one ever thought differently in England. Over these 48 hours, you were very clear that it would not stand. We heard you. I heard you. And I want to apologize to Jurgen, to Billy, to the players, and to everyone who worked so hard at LFC to make our fans proud. They have absolutely no responsibility for this disruption. They were the most disrupted, and unfairly so. This is what hurts most. They love your club and work to make you proud every single day. I know the entire LFC team has the expertise, leadership, and passion necessary to rebuild trust and help us move forward.
So, Kop, that apology, if you were to buy into that apology, you'd almost feel for it and think, oh, it's a good apology. But as a football fan, they've done something which is, in my opinion, is unforgivable. Especially a man with integrity of your boss, Jurgen, top manager, world-class manager, and it's almost like they threw him under the bus without even worrying about it. And then with this apology is because I believe as well there's going to be a sanction against them, and if he come up by the PR, because to be honest with you, this is a PR stunt. This is all to do with PR. Someone wrote down the apology for him, he comes out and do it. It's not from the heart at all. So with that, do you buy into this apology by any chance?
Well, I looked at the whole apology, listened to the whole apology on the video, and no, I don't buy into it. I'm really angry at the guy, the way that he's treated not only Jurgen Klopp, the staff, the fans, the club itself. It's embarrassing, to say the least. But the one thing I wanted to pick up on the actual interview thing was, he says the project was never going to go ahead without the support of the fans. But at no stage were the fans talked to. They knew nothing about this. They knew nothing of the reasons behind it. They knew nothing of the money involved. So what does that say about him? That's just saying he's lying. It certainly was scripted. It certainly didn't come from the heart. And one thing that I did notice through watching Sky, and it may have just been Sky's own information, was that it was stated that Liverpool Football Club changed their mind based on talks held with the stakeholders. And at no point did they mention fans. Now, the stakeholders we know are the money people, the people that have invested in the club, whether it be LeBron James or Redbird, who's recently put in the 500 odd million, whatever it may be. At no point were the fans mentioned. And to me, they have got absolutely no idea what power the power the fans hold, what passion, the history. I know they they know the history. The owners know the history. I don't think they actually understand it, what football means to people in this country, because in America, it's down the list of sports, from NFL and NBA and all that. So you would think that in the time that they spent in running this club or owning this club, they would realize what our club and for the likes of you or your fans, what it means, but they don't. So to me, I wasn't happy with the interview, and it's like I said, it certainly wasn't heartfelt.
Again, I'm gonna because Aslan, he's an Arsenal fan, so I'm just gonna get some comments read out in a minute. But before we move on, the money they were going to get to sign the dotted line to kick in was 350 million before a ball even kicked into the clubs, into their pocket. That's how much the money estimated to be. So Aslan, there was a few comments on here. Would you mind taking them away for us, please? So the first one, please.
Yeah, so we've got a comment from Born to Create. So been business very long time, it's lost the grassroots. and yeah, that's right. And that was one of the biggest things. Because if this would have gone ahead, places like the grassroots football would have suffered the most. Do you know what I mean? And the lower league clubs would most likely have suffered the most as well. So another comment I'll just read out here as well. And I think he is genuinely sorry, but this has happened too many times now. The price hike of the tickets first comes to thought than this. How many more times can he apologize?
Yeah. Next one, please.
So Brendan, think John Henry and the clubs that signed up for this really didn't think the fans would react like this. Really underestimated the fans, and that's absolutely true. John W. Henry has been caught out. This was planned months ago. It's not just him, but other owners to blame.
Yep.
And a comment from Mark as well. Hi guys, this is it for me. Has Liverpool fan, FSG must go. Fans come first in football and not money. Making schemes and last two thought apologies. And Born to Create again. None of the fans from the top 6 clubs never knew. And fans need to have a seat at the table, like Bayern Munich. And I think this was a very good. This was a very good one, because even before anything was mentioned, you're talking about the Champions League winners of last year to not even, have a sniff around what was going on. Automatically, when the news broke out, then they turned around and said, you know what, no. And I was actually quite surprised with PSG as well, because PSG is obviously as worldwide known as the fashion club, the club with the most amount of money. Even they didn't even, they
didn't want nothing to do with it.
They didn't want nothing to do with it because they know,
Okay,
and another comment is it has caused a major damage to all the clubs, and that's a very good one, because I think there's going to be sanctions coming now, and I think we might be deducted points as well. So,
we'll discuss that at the end. We got that one as well.
So lower leagues are suffering even before the Super League. Yeah, absolutely. And this would have just killed them off, to be honest with you. You know, the wording in Henry's statement tells you what he thinks of the fans.
There you go. Exactly.
Yep.
So, guys, to summarize up Liverpool there for us, I'm a Man United fan, and we meant to be rivalry, but they have united us all together. These absolute clown of owners absolutely unite us together, and that's the power of football and fans, because they thought they could pull a wool over our eyes, but the problem is, unfortunately, as fans, we stick together. So let's move on to the next one now, and the next one is going to be for me here. So, guys, this is an interview from Nicky Butt, and this here is a guy who came through the system at Manchester United, coach at Man United, and for some reason or another, in the last few weeks, have left the club because of what reason we do not know. So we're going to take a listen to Nicky Butt.
I don't think apologies are too great anyway, if I'm honest. I think what happened should never have happened. What happened is the worst case of bullying, in my opinion, from powerful people. So I don't think whether they apologise or not is irrelevant to me, really.
Do you think it's going to take a long time for those in power at some of these clubs to regain the trust of some of the fans, do you think?
Hell of a long time, and I don't see how it's possible, really. It's very difficult to gain someone's trust after, you know, going behind people's back for so long. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to do that. Don't know how they do it. That's something that they've got to try and work out.
So, I'll state my case here for Nicky Butt. For me, and like what he tried to say is bullying, I look at the Glazers as bullies. And the reason I look at the Glazers as bullies is the simple fact is, when they came into Manchester United as a football club, the first thing they did was they took out a loan against us, which put us in a 480 million worth of debt. That's what they did to us. They tried to bully their way around the Premier League. They also, with Joe Glazer, you don't really and truly, since his father passed away, you have not seen Joe Glazer at Manchester United. These guys are cretins. They've taken out money every single season in, season out of Manchester United to put in their franchise in America, into the American football, and also into their baseball team. Then what they're now doing, they also then took another loan out from the Bank of England to basically fund for the transfer. Where that money is gone or where that money is going, I couldn't tell you, because I know it's not going to go Man United. Last season, we brought in three players. They're three players. The money we recuperate from selling Lukaku and those guys, we came in at net spend at £33 million. Where is this money going? They are bleeding Manchester United dry. They're taking every single thing away from the club. Everything we talk about, history, the passion, everything Sir Alex Ferguson built, they're basically trying to ruin it quickly. And with this whole sacking of Ed Woodward, do not buy it at all. Do not buy it. They're trying to throw Ed Woodward under the bus. They had more dealings with this than Ed Woodward, and they threw him underneath the bus. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was told 15 minutes before the Burnley game about the deal, what happened. That is throwing the manager underneath the bus. Guys, with Nicky Butt's interview, let's start with the Kop Artist. Being a Liverpool fan, and obviously the rivalry of Man United, you could probably just see there he was actually upset about the whole thing when he's talking about bullying and the trusting of these owners.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, whether you're an ex-player, whether you're a fan. When you have owners that treat your club, like yours, as a cash cow for their other sports. You know, we have a similar situation with the Boston Red Sox, and all sort of your owners seem to want is money, money, money. And you know, what does that say about them as a person, as a businessman? Now, we know people like that are in business to make money. They're in it to make a profit. But there's making a profit and just basically ripping the heart out of the financial heart out of the club that they're owning, or not necessarily even just the financial part of the club that they're owning. They're ripping the heart out of the club itself, and treating the fans like second-rate citizens. It's bang out of order.
Yeah. Let's ask that now. With obviously Nicky Butt, Man United, again, same thing, rivalry and stuff like things like that. He's talk about obviously the trust issue and the trust element of it. For Man United, you're not being a Man United fan, but for me as a Man United fan, I do not trust the Glazers. I've never have. I stopped buying shirts since 2013. I stopped giving my money to them. With that now, do you think the players now is obviously who's at the club is now cottoning on to what the dodgy dealing these people are doing?
Absolutely. Look, I mean, when you get owners from, different background of sports, and you come into the Premier League and you want to buy a Premier League club, their first intention is basically money, because they know how much money the Premier League generates. They know how much these clubs, and they know how much fans, look at how much football means to fans. So, it's just another thing. You can come in here without being a football fan and fund your and take money from here and fund your actual sport. Like, I mean, you take Kroenke, for example. He's got franchises for about 3 or 4 different franchises in the US, and just as your guys, he's taken a loan out in while we're in the midst of the pandemic, of £110 million. Now, does he have any intention of putting money back into Arsenal? But he can take that kind of money out from on the name of a club and put it into his. You can't build a £500 million state-of-the-art stadium for the Rams in the US. Do you know what I mean? With your own money, and then you take the money out from the club. These are massive. These things, you look at it and you just think, like, which side is football going? You got the likes of club legends, tweeting Kroenke out. You've got ex-players turning up to the protest today against these owners. We're going to
discuss. We're going to come back to that one, Aslan. We're going to come back to that. That's next.
No, but just in general, like, you already know what kind of mindset these people. They know how much money the Premier Leagues make. You know what I mean? Yeah. They know how much the fans have love for their football clubs. That's what built on community, isn't it? They're trying to rip the community and everything away from the fans just for a little bit of, not a little bit, but a lot of cash, so they can fund the stuff that they want to fund it on. Fake promises.
So, quick one. We're going to go through some of these comments now for us, Aslan, and then we're going to then move on to the last topic.
So we got a comment from Kieran. Not a comment, but a question. Being in Australia, we don't hear much about the Premier League, but was the Mourinho sacking due to complete shit show? Go on, Errol, I'll let you take that. You were a Mourinho guy once upon a time.
So there was rumours circulating. I'm just saying about rumours, so I'm not 100% sure. There was a rumour that was circulating. A manager has refused to take the players out training in the morning because of the whole six, basically. This so-called Big Six, apparently. And next thing you know, within about an hour and a half, 2 hours of that, Jose Mourinho was sacked. So again, I'm not sure. Just saying, a manager refused to take the players out. Jose Mourinho was sacked. Also, with the Jose sacking, there's rumours also circulating. If he finishes in the top 4, Daniel Levy would have to give him a couple of million extra. For the position he's in now, basically, it's a couple of million drop. So again, it's rumours. Is that true? Yes, I'm not sure, but it's rumours. Next question, please.
Questions.
Hold on, sorry.
So we got a quick question. So do we trust the owners?
No.
Absolutely
Definitely
not. Another question here. So when Glazers came in, the fans base knew what Man United was happened to create FC united.
Yeah.
All clubs need to have a fan base involved.
True. 100%.
Definitely.
Another question. I think Woodward did know, and that's why he is quitting, because of fans' backlash like yesterday.
Okay.
From
Afternoon.
Charles Williams. Afternoon, Charles.
Afternoon. Okay, so I'm going to play the next one, and it's Arteta and the protests. When I heard this week, and I'm praying, when I listen to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference later on, I'm just praying it sounds as convincing as this man's. Because I watched Klopp and I watched Pep Guardiola, and the passion they spoke about this Super League being made. And then when I heard this guy today talk as well, I just sat there and I thought, okay, yeah, I'll give him some credit. Yeah. So let's go and listen to Arteta and what Arteta had to say about the whole incident. Play? Should be playing. Hold on 1 second. Technical difficulty.
And that makes me really proud. The fans have to express is their right, and they have to do it freely. For me, what it shows is the power, that the capacity they have when they show that determination and passion to achieve what they want. If we can use this with our fans to support the team, I think that would be incredibly powerful, and it will make us much, much stronger. So it's time to leave them a space to express themselves, and now somehow we have to engage them again, get them closer to us, believe in what we do, and if we do that, we will be in a much better place.
So with that, Aslan, the Arsenal man, Arteta spoke about obviously the team coming together, fans coming together and supporting. You guys today got a protest at 6 p.m. today. There's rumours around that the possibility is just rumours. Ian Wright and Jack Wilshere, as they'll be there with the support of Arsenal. Kroenke now is a man that you touched on it earlier. He hasn't put no money into Arsenal Football Club. You got the highest season ticket there is, and if I'm right to say as well, and it's a bit funny, but you're catering as well for fans as well. You got the most expensive for food and drink in your stadium. But yet this man is taking, and not respecting the fan and the traditional of what Arsene Wenger built.
Listen, when you've got someone who doesn't know nothing about football, you know, what else do you expect from these people? Do you know what I mean? Listen, first of all, I don't really buy any food and stuff from when I go down to watch Arsenal. I solely go there to support the boys. But do you know that this is the thing? When you don't have football people running football club, this is what happens. Now, regards to the game tonight, to be honest with you, the game is the second thing for me right now. I mean, I just want our voices to be heard. The protest should be the biggest thing of tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like Arteta said, listen, when the fans unite, you see what kind of voice it becomes. Without the fans, the football wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fans. You wouldn't get that kind of money if there wasn't for the fans. Now, I mean, I think they have lied and betrayed the fans. They've betrayed the club. They've betrayed the history of the club. And I think they very much threw Arteta under the bus because they knew he's a new manager coming onto the scene, a year and a half in the job. You know, what's he going to say? He's just going to be like a puppet to the owners, isn't it? They've just got strings attached to him. Like, let's put it this way. At least the Liverpool owners came out on a video and apologized, you know. For Arsenal, what they did for him, they just sent him a letter, and it was signed at the bottom from the board for Arteta to tell the media side. Now, that just goes to show you what kind of level these people are. Kroenke, I heard, was the second most powerful man behind Perez. He was like the vice president of this Super League. You know, so or automatically, we were probably the first English club to enter that thing. When they said, do you want to join? He was probably the first one to say, do you know what? Yes, that's how you probably become the vice president of the Super League. And it just goes to show you, like, when you've got ex-players, legends to walk out in front of the club. And don't forget, Ian Wright does a lot of work behind the scenes for Arsenal. You know, he's not directly employed, but he does a lot of videos. He does a lot of things for Arsenal. Now, for him to turn around and tweet Kroenke out, because just goes to show how low these owners have dropped and how shameful things that they've done, and not even to come out and apologize for themselves, but to send a letter to Arteta to say, read this. Not even signed by Kroenke, but from the board. You know?
Yeah.
So this is why I honestly think today it's more about the protest than the game. I mean, for us, the season is pretty much dead in the Premier League anyway, if you really think about it. Do you know what I mean? But as much as I want the boys to win, I just want the voices to be heard, and I just want this man out of my club now. This is it now. This is it for him to go.
So, Kop Artist, with what Aslan just said there, do you believe now is the time that they should trigger this new thing now, like they've done in the German league, where the fan has a percentages within the club? Because the only way I could see us coming out of this is by implementing that rule.
Yeah, I think it's vital that football these days, it doesn't matter whether you're a top 6 club or whether you're in the conference. It doesn't matter. I think having the fans have a voice in the whole way a club is run, and have a say in things that maybe the owners might want to implement, whether it be something like the ESL or just you're building part of a stadium or whatever it may be. It could be anything, even small. They need to have a voice, because I think they forget that, okay, outside of sponsorship money and merchandise money, without the ticket money as well, without the fans being at the stadium, without the support and the loyalty that these fans show, they haven't got a club. Can you imagine sort of walking into Anfield or Arsenal or Man United and having a third of the stadium only with fans and the rest is empty?
Yeah.
Because they've said, look, we're not turning up because we don't trust you. We don't like the way that you've treated us as fans. We don't like the way that you've treated the team and the manager.
Yeah.
So I think it's vital that we do the 50+1 like Bayern Munich are doing.
Yeah. So, quick one before we move on to the next one. Would you mind hitting these comments for us, please?
Yeah. So another comment from Charles. No one should trust any of the American owners. 50+1 rule needs to be brought in. Yeah, we just discussed that, and I think it's 100%. So we've got another comment. So Woodward was due to leave in December. He just brought it forward so the fire doesn't reach the Glazers.
Yeah.
50+1 rule will bring down ticket prices, kit prices, stop the nonsense for these European leagues, mate. As an Arsenal fan, you would know. We've released about 18 different training kits this season. Do you know what I mean? So I don't even know, and they're more expensive than the actual football kits now. So another comment here. So it's really hard to see the compassion in his accent, and let's be honest, he seems like a pretty dull guy. But if he is saying that against the club, I think he's genuinely there for all the fans. And I think he's So the American-driven European clubs want Inju to be badly run and going bankrupt.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to the last few parts now. We're going to pick up, and then we're going to then call it a day. So we'll go through John Barnes first. So John Barnes yesterday was on. To be honest with you, when it comes to John Barnes, I take him with a pinch of salt, because he's like the pin-up boy where something goes wrong, they get him, and he's normally the yes man in football. But he was talking about like the withdrawal of Super League, and he was discussing about, say for instance, the Chelsea shirt. Say for instance, a Chelsea shirt's worth like £130 if you were to buy the full kit at the moment. How many of the fans out there could afford it? How many of the fans could afford a season ticket for the price they're going at the moment? And also, when you look at it, not only are you paying for your season ticket, you're paying for, when you go to the games, you're paying for food, you're paying for travel. You then, if you're not doing that, you're then paying for BT Sport, you're paying for Sky Sport, you're paying for all of these other avenues. So even though they're saying about this big six. Sky's well on top of them about the big six. But if it did go along, Sky Sports will take a chunk of it and they will be invested in it as well because it's where the money is. So Sky Sports, that's another subscription fans will be paying from Sky Sports. So again, even though it's sixes ain't happening at the moment, it's still gonna boil down. When it comes, Sky will bump their price up, and what will happen is the money, and they will get richer and richer, and the other clubs in the pyramid scheme down below is going to be poor. Again, John Barnes' quote, it's all to do with when it comes to, say, the Premier League, the breakaway from the Premier from in 1992 when the breakaway happened, it was the same thing. It was the same thing like what's happening now. But the difference is the fans knew about the breakaway. They weren't happy with it, but they knew about it. So let's go to the Kop and ask him, with this breakaway, do you feel the Super Six, what they're talking about, and the breakaway when it happened in 1999, do you believe it's very similar, or do you think there was an improvement in doing it in 1992?
Well, as you say, in 1992, the fans knew about this, and again, like you said, they weren't happy about it. But I guess at that time, football needed to slightly evolve into obviously what we have today. Does it really need evolving again so soon? Doesn't this again, like John Barnes has said, it's all about the money. Like we've all said, it's all about the money and how much money the big wigs, the owners, Sky Sports, BT Sports, Amazon maybe, can make out of subscriptions. They have an ESL come in, and then all of a sudden there's an extra subscription from Sky, which is going to make the fans poorer. Like you said, the kit prices are astronomically high. Ticket prices, merchandise, the whole lot. And I've been saying this for years. You can see the constant rise in prices. And we know that there's inflation and all that. We get that. But does it necessarily mean that it has to go up so much? People can't afford it. And so what happens? People then struggle to pay their bills because they feel that they need to go to a match because that's part of their life. That's just like another bill for them. And it's just getting to that point where it's got that out of hand. People have said, look, do you know what? We've had enough of this. We ain't standing for this anymore. And I'm certainly not going to stand for it anymore. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can to bring people together to make sure, stuff like this doesn't happen again, because it's got ridiculous.
Okay, and let's go with Aslan, final part now, before we read some more comments out. Obviously, we're talking about the affordability, and you were saying about Arsenal as well with it, and how many kits they're bringing out per season. Man United have gone and done the same thing as well last season with about 4 to 5 different kits now. And with what John Barnes saying about obviously Sky Sports, BT Sports, and the breakaway, what's your thought on it? Just give me about 2 minutes of your thought on that.
Mate, I mean, I think it's already been said. I mean, this is what it is, isn't it? I mean, they're not really thinking about the fans and things like that still. Ticket prices alone, I mean, are terrible. I mean, they're putting so much emphasis in raising the prices for everything, kits and everything as well. It's just a cash cow, isn't it? That's what it is, because they know how much they know the fans, how much they are attached to their clubs. The moment a kit comes out, it's sold out. The moment a training kit comes out, it's sold out. So they know that how to make money off of them. They don't care about us traveling. Imagine you playing on a Monday night, 8 o'clock. Imagine the travel cost that you got to, and you're playing up in Newcastle. As an Arsenal fan, imagine the travel cost from here up to Newcastle on a Monday evening, and then on the way back. They don't really look at these things. You know what I mean? So when you put it all together, Errol, fans come bottom tier to these people. Money is everything. Fan comes absolute bottom tier. You know what I mean? It just goes to show the the Europa League that we were in against Chelsea, that was played in Baku.
Yeah.
Some fans, when they went there, it took them so long, so many different routes, so many tickets, so many plane journeys to get to Baku. Like, who plays in Baku? Out of all stadiums in the world, you go and play there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For a final, you could have played in Wembley. There was two English clubs.
Money.
Two English clubs. You could have played that in Wembley.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
Why was Wembley closed that night? You know?
Yeah.
But it's what it is, isn't it? Like, money is everything to these people.
Yeah. So let's go through the last comments and then we'll get your final thoughts about it, guys.
Listen, I'm just going to say one thing. You know, if they put this much effort into tackling racism and online abuse, do you know what I mean? It would be so much more better. But the fact that the player abuse and racism has no profit in it, there's no money. You know, it's not profitable enough for them. This is why that's all brushed under the carpet, and it's all about money. That's 100% what it is. You know, we'd be in such a better place right now if they put a lot more emphasis on tackling the real problems than to funding themselves and trying to make them richer.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say about this thing. You know,
that's all right. Would you mind hitting these comments now, for us, Charles Williams?
Yeah. So Charles, so it was exactly the same. The breakaway from the Premier League was done overnight. We all heard it on the news in the morning. Yeah. Fans didn't know. No one knew about it. Absolutely. So being in Australia, I went Liverpool in 2017. I paid £195 to sit in the Kop end. Once in a lifetime for me. But a subscription is 25 Australian dollars, so £14 a month to watch a game. You know, I mean, can I just touch on that? Can I just touch on that comment? That comment. Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember when we were in lockdown? You know, coming to the end of the season last year, when they were charging fans to watch Premier League games on box office, and you were paying £15 to watch Aston Villa play against Burnley or Sheffield United play against Burnley. Yeah. Even then, when you were paying £30 subscription a month for these people, just goes to show, isn't it? And how quickly, when the fans raised up and said, "Listen, what's the hell's going on here? Why are you then charging us on a monthly subscription and we're paying another £15 to watch Sheffield United on a Super Sunday?" Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, it baffles you, isn't it? It baffles you. Oh, this is baffling, isn't it? That is.
So, guys, great show. Thanks everyone for the comments. Thanks for watching. We're going to go to and do our final thoughts now. So, Kop Artist, what's your final thoughts on this whole? Obviously, we know we're happy this league ain't going to go ahead, but at the same time, for me, I'm all about forgiveness and will I forgive my owners? So, can you just give me some of your thoughts, please?
Yeah, I can't forgive them personally as a Liverpool fan. The way that they've treated, you know, the club, the team, the manager, the fans, doing it behind everybody's back, doing it the way that they did it, not consulting the fans, not consulting the club staff themselves, only looking out for themselves. It's always that same old adage, isn't it? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and they're just trying to keep the people downtrodden and make them pay more and more and more and more. And that's got to stop. And the only way to stop it is to bring in new legislation so that we have that 50+1, or we have it so that owners can't do certain things without the approval of, you know, a wider scope of people. And if they're not happy about it, you know what? Pack your bags, bugger off back to America or you know, Australia or Thailand or wherever it is that you come from, because we don't need people like that ruining our sport.
Brilliant. Thank you. And let's go, Aslan. Final thoughts, please.
Yeah, mate. I mean, that's, you know, exactly what I was thinking as well. Listen, I haven't forgiven Kroenke for the past 10 years, let alone for the past, past 48 hours or a week. I mean, look, we just need football people. That's all we need. That's all we are as fans. We just ask for the best for our club. We just want the best for our club. There should be a cap on prices for tickets. There should be a cap on price for, football shirts. They should consider. I mean, do you know what? what's happened in the last 48 hours of that madness, if that doesn't make these people realize how much the fan power is, do you know what I mean? Then nothing will realize. And I just want them to be gone now. Do you know what I mean? If this doesn't make you think twice about how much fans mean to football and how much football relies on their fans, if this doesn't make you realize, then you are absolutely nowhere need to be around any football club, let alone an Arsenal. Any football club, I don't want to see any owners like that around any club. Do you know that? Because it's just ripping communities apart, and it's just literally destroying the tradition and histories of our club.
Yeah.
You know, so
I was going to say my final thought would be with the Glazers, with especially Joe Glazer. He hasn't come out. He only again, it's the same with Arteta reading something from from whatever they gave him to read from. He hasn't come out. He hasn't communicated properly with the fans. I do not expect him to see him at a Man United game anytime soon. I've listened. I've read his statement. His statement again for me, I don't trust him. I just want the Glazers out. I want them out desperately. So I also believe the minute Arsenal go and do this protest today at 6 o'clock, the ripple effect will happen. Liverpool will get it. Man United will get it, and Spurs will get it. So guys, listen, absolutely brilliant today. We're just going to read out the last comment. And then after that, guys, thanks for everyone watching. If you like the contents, please like, share, and subscribe. And this is the United Agenda. Also, guys, remember, we've got other pages on the FTB Sports as well. We've got Liverpool, we've got PAXTON Road, and we've got an Arsenal show as well, guys. So smash a like. Thank you. And let's do, is this the last comment we're going to read? Have we seen this one?
Yeah, I'll just quickly read this comment out as well. It says, what's killed it is no salary caps. The Australian Football League has a salary cap on players. Because of that, there's been no massive owner wanting anything to do with the game. Can I just say something just regarding that? Just what I've mentioned about salary caps. I think it's not just Premier League. I think there are a few leagues, you know, that I've heard of that have a salary cap on, you know, where a lot of the owners don't want to go to those clubs because they know there are certain barriers where you can't cross. With the owners like what we have, who are multi-rich people, do you know what I mean? They could take advantage of that because they know how much our how much just generally the Premier League top 6 makes. Do you know what I mean? But I just want to ask one question before we go, guys. Just to us guys as a little banter thing. Okay, you know the Super League thing. Can we just get one answer from you, Errol, and one answer from you as well, Kop? Is how did Spurs make it in there? How did Spurs make it in there? Yeah, hold on. Isn't Aston Villa bigger? Hasn't Aston Villa? Isn't Aston Villa bigger than Spurs?
He went there.
Yeah, he had to go there. Somebody had to go there.
How did they make
Someone
it
had
in
to go there.
Well, at the end of the day, you mentioned about the wage caps. It isn't just about wage caps, though. It's about transfer caps. The amount of money transfers create, the agents' fees. These are the things that are killing each team, and it has to stop. They have to salary cap, wage cap, transfer cap, the whole lot to stop people exploiting the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the last one there is the comment was Spurs and City should protest on Sunday. I can't see City protesting on Sunday because again, they'll back their owner because of what they've done for the club. So that's not gonna happen.
I mean,
but guys,
final,
literally, thank you guys for taking
No, I was gonna say it's just a cup final.
Time out for being on the show today. Yeah, it's just a cup, free handles as well. But listen, guys, look out for us. We are the United Agenda, and also you can find us on FTB Sports. As I said, like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back here tonight with the Man U Agenda again, doing the preview show for the Leeds United game. So, guys, thanks for watching. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you.
Ladies.